Marcus Webb stood in line at Save Mart, a rundown grocery store in East Oakland, California, holding two items, coffee and bread. At 42, Marcus looked every bit the retired Navy SEAL he was, 6'2", muscular despite the years since active duty, with scars visible on his forearms, and a presence that made people unconsciously step back. He'd been out of the service for 3 years now, medically discharged after his last mission went sideways. 16 years of service, dozens of operations, more kills than he could count, and it had all ended in a desert compound in Syria with an IED that killed 3 of his teammates and left Marcus with shrapnel in his leg and guilt in his soul. Now he lived alone in a studio apartment, worked security at a warehouse, and tried to get through each day without drowning in memories. The line moved slowly. Save Mart was the cheapest grocery store in the neighborhood, which meant it was always packed with people stretching their dollars as far as they could. Marcus didn't mind waiting. He had nowhere to be, nothing to rush home to. Waiting in line was almost meditative compared to waiting in hostile territory for targets that might never appear. Then he heard the crying. A baby. Loud, distressed, the kind of cry that meant hunger or pain. Marcus's eyes automatically tracked the sound. Old training always identifies sources of noise. A young woman stood at the customer service counter about 10 feet away. Mid-20s, thin, with exhausted eyes, and a crying infant in her arms. She was trying to return something to the cashier. Marcus watched out of habit, reading the situation the way he'd been trained to read tactical scenarios. The woman, Hispanic, work uniform under a worn jacket, hands shaking slightly, was holding a can of baby formula and a receipt. "Please," she was saying, voice barely audible over the baby's cries. "I need to return this. I can't afford it. I made a mistake." The cashier, older woman, bored expression, didn't even look up. "Store policy. No returns on formula. It's posted right there." She pointed to a sign. "But I just bought it 20 minutes ago. I haven't opened it. Please, I need the money for..." "Policy is policy. I can't override it. Please, my daughter needs diapers. I thought I had enough for both, but I miscalculated. I just need to return this and get the diapers instead. Can't help you." The woman's face crumpled. The baby's cries intensified. Other customers in the store were staring, some with pity, most with annoyance at the noise and delay. Marcus watched the woman struggle. You could see her trying to hold it together, trying not to break down in public, trying to maintain some shred of dignity, while her baby screamed and strangers judged. "Please," she tried one more time. "I'm begging you. Ma'am, you need to leave the counter. You're holding up the line." "But security," the cashier called. Marcus's jaw tightened. He knew that look on the woman's face. He'd seen it before. In Syria, in Afghanistan, in Iraq. Mothers holding their children, desperate, powerless, watching their worlds collapse while others looked away. The security guard, heavy-set, mid-50s, approached. "Ma'am, you need to leave. I just need to return this." "You heard the cashier. Store policy. Time to go." The woman's shoulders sagged in defeat. She turned to leave, still holding the formula she couldn't afford and couldn't return, her baby crying, her face a mask of humiliation and despair, and everyone just watched. That's when something snapped inside Marcus. He stepped out of line. "Wait." Marcus's voice cut through the noise. Not loud, but commanding. The kind of voice that made people stop and listen because it carried authority born from years of giving orders in life-or-death situations. Everyone turned. The woman, the cashier, the security guard. Marcus approached the customer service counter. "I'll buy the formula and the diapers, whatever she needs." The woman's eyes widened. "You don't have to." "I know I don't have to. I'm choosing to." Marcus pulled out his wallet, extracted his credit card. "How much is the formula?" "Sir, that's not necessary," the cashier started. "How much?" $28. "And diapers?" The woman looked overwhelmed. I can't let you..." "Ma'am, how much are the diapers?" $18, "but really you don't need to do this. $50 total then." Marcus handed his card to the cashier. "Ring it up and let her keep both, the formula and get the diapers." The cashier hesitated, looked at the security guard, who shrugged. "Fine." She processed the transaction with obvious reluctance, as if Marcus's kindness was somehow an inconvenience. The woman was crying now, not from despair but from relief and overwhelming gratitude. Thank you so much. I don't know how to..." You don't need to thank me, just take care of your baby. I will. God bless you, I will. Marcus nodded, started to turn back to his place in line. Wait! The woman touched his arm. What's your name? Please, I need to know who helped us. Marcus, I'm Elena. Elena Vasquez. And this is Sophia. She looked down at her now quieting daughter. We won't forget this, I promise. Just survive, that's enough. Marcus returned to his line, aware that everyone in the store was staring at him, some with approval, some with curiosity, a few with that suspicious look that asked why would anyone do that. As he paid for his coffee and bread, the cashier, a different one, said quietly, "That was a good thing you did." It was the right thing. Not everyone sees it that way. Then not everyone's paying attention. Outside, Marcus walked to his truck, a beat-up Ford F-150 that had seen better days. He was loading his groceries when Elena appeared, holding Sophia. Marcus, wait, please. He turned. You okay? Yes, thanks to you, but I wanted to give you something. She pulled out a crumpled piece of paper, wrote down a phone number. I don't have much. I can't repay you with money, but if you ever need anything at all, please call me. I work as a home health aide. If you or someone you know ever needs help, I'll do it for free. It's the least I can offer. Marcus took the paper. You don't owe me anything. Maybe not, but I want to give it anyway. You saw me at my lowest moment, and you didn't judge. You just helped. That means something. I've been low before. I know what it looks like. Military. Elena gestured to the sealed trident tattoo visible on his forearm. Yeah, Navy. Thank you for your service, and thank you for today. You're a good man. After she left, Marcus sat in his truck for a long moment, staring at the phone number. He didn't feel like a good man. Good men didn't watch their teammates die. Good men saved everyone, not just the lucky few. But maybe, just maybe, helping one person was better than helping no one. He started the truck and drove home. Marcus didn't think about Elena Vasquez for the rest of the day. He went home, made dinner, watched TV without really seeing it, and went to bed at 10 p.m. like always. But at 3 a.m. he woke up screaming. The nightmare was always the same. The compound in Syria. His team moving through rooms, clearing threats. Then the explosion. Fire. Screaming. Marcus pulling himself out of rubble looking for his brothers, finding them too late. He sat on the edge of his bed, covered in sweat, hands shaking. 3 years since that mission, and the nightmares hadn't faded. If anything, they'd gotten worse. His therapist, VA assigned, well-meaning but overworked, said it was PTSD, said he needed to process the trauma, forgive himself, move forward. Marcus didn't know how to do any of that. What he knew was how to survive, how to wake up, go through the motions, pretend he was functional. At 6 a.m. his phone rang. Unknown number. Webb. Marcus, this is Elena. From yesterday, the grocery store. I remember. Everything okay? Yes. More than okay. I wanted to tell you. Because of you, we made it through last night. Sophia slept well, had formula, wore a clean diaper. It sounds small, but it meant everything. I'm glad. There's something else. I told my boss what you did. She's the director at the home health agency where I work. She wants to meet you. Why? Because she's always looking for good people, and she thinks what you did shows character. Are you employed right now? Yeah. Security work. But would you be open to something else? Better pay, better benefits. Marcus hesitated. His security job was easy, mindless, which is what he needed, but it also paid barely enough to cover rent and food. What kind of work? Personal protection. Driving and protecting elderly clients, high-risk patients, people who need security during home health visits. It's legitimate, legal, pays well. My boss thinks you'd be perfect. I don't know. Just meet with her, please. Let me do this one thing to say thank you. Against his better judgment, Marcus agreed. 2 days later, he sat in the office of Guardian Home Health Services, meeting with Director Patricia Okonkwo. Patricia was impressive. Mid-50s, Nigerian immigrant, commanding presence. She'd built Guardian from nothing into one of the most respected agencies in Oakland. Eleanor tells me you're former military. Navy SEAL, is that correct? Yes, ma'am. And you're currently working warehouse security? Yes, ma'am. Why? The blunt question caught Marcus off guard. It's work. It's beneath your skill set. You have training in tactical operations, threat assessment, crisis management. Why waste that on watching an empty warehouse? Because it's simple. No one dies if I make a mistake. Patricia's expression softened. You lost people. Your team. How did you... I looked you up. Silver Star, Bronze Star, Purple Heart. 16 years of distinguished service. Medical discharge after an incident in Syria. 3 teammates KIA. You survived with shrapnel wounds and PTSD. Marcus's jaw tightened. If you know all that, you know why I'm working simple jobs. I'm not reliable for high-stakes work. I disagree. Elena told me what you did in that store. Saw a problem, assessed the situation, acted decisively, achieved objective. That's exactly what I need. It was $50 for baby formula, not exactly high stakes. It was someone in crisis needing help and you didn't hesitate. That's character. That's what I hire for. Patricia slid a folder across the desk. I'm offering you a position as Senior Protection Specialist. You'd provide security for high-risk clients, wealthy elderly people, patients with stalkers or dangerous family members, witnesses in legal cases. Starting salary, $75,000 per year, full benefits, flexible schedule. Marcus opened the folder, saw the contract. It was legitimate, professional, and offering 3 times what he currently made. Why would you trust me with this? Because Elena trusts you, and I trust Elena's judgment. Plus, I've read your service record. You're exactly what my clients need. Someone who can spot danger, prevent problems, and protect vulnerable people. That's what you did for 16 years. Why stop now? Because last time I tried to protect people, they died. Marcus. Patricia's voice was firm but kind. You can't save everyone, but that doesn't mean you stop trying to save anyone. Take the job. Help people who need you. Give yourself a purpose beyond surviving. Marcus looked at the contract, at the salary, at the chance to do something meaningful again. I'll try it. 3-month trial. If I'm not good at it, I walk. Deal. Marcus started the following Monday. His first assignment, protect Dr. Evelyn Hartford, a retired professor receiving home health care. She'd been receiving threatening letters from a former student who blamed her for his failed career. Doctor, Hartford is 83, Patricia briefed him. Sharp as a tack, stubborn as hell. She refused police protection, but she agreed to accept you because I told her you were former military and very professional. What's the threat level? Medium. The letters are hostile but not actively violent. Still, we're not taking chances. Marcus drove to Dr. Hartford's home in Oakland Hills, a beautiful Victorian house with a view of the bay. Eleanor was already there, providing her daily care. Marcus! Eleanor smiled when she saw him. I'm so glad you took the job. Thanks to you. Thanks to you first. Come on, I'll introduce you to Dr. Hartford. The elderly woman sat in her living room, surrounded by books. She looked at Marcus with sharp, assessing eyes. So you're my bodyguard? Protection specialist, ma'am. And you were a SEAL? Yes, ma'am. Do you know how to make tea? The question surprised him. Yes, ma'am. Good. Make me some Earl Grey. We'll see if you're as competent as Patricia claims. As Marcus made tea correctly, thankfully, Dr. Hartford questioned him about everything. His service, his training, his opinions on current events, his taste in literature. You read? She asked, surprised. Yes, ma'am, mostly history and philosophy. What are you reading now? Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. Ah, a Stoic. Fitting for a warrior. Do you find it helpful? Sometimes. He talks about duty, about doing what's right regardless of outcome. I'm trying to figure out if I still believe that. Why wouldn't you? Because I did my duty, and people still died. Dr. Hartford studied him. Marcus, I've lived 83 years. I've learned that doing the right thing doesn't guarantee success. It only guarantees you can live with yourself. You helped Elena and her daughter. That was right, regardless of what came before or after. Don't let your past failures erase your present decency. Over the next 2 weeks, Marcus protected Dr. Hartford. He checked her mail, screened visitors, ensured her safety. The threatening letters stopped. Apparently, the former student had been arrested for unrelated harassment. But Marcus stayed on, rotating through different clients. A wealthy widow whose adult children were fighting over her estate. A domestic violence survivor rebuilding her life. A witness in a fraud case who'd received death threats. Each assignment was different, but the core was the same. Protect vulnerable people from threats. And Marcus found something he hadn't felt in 3 years. Purpose. 3 months into the job, Marcus's life had stabilized. Better pay meant a better apartment. Meaningful work meant fewer nightmares. He wasn't healed. Trauma didn't work that way. But he was functioning, contributing, mattering. Elena had become a friend. They'd have coffee sometimes after shifts, talk about their clients, their lives. She told him about her struggles as a single mother, about Sophia's father who'd left when she got pregnant, about her determination to give her daughter a better life. "I'm taking online classes," Elena told him one afternoon. "Business management. I want to run my own agency someday, help other immigrants find work in healthcare." "You'll do it. You're determined enough." "I learned determination from my daughter. When you have a child depending on you, giving up isn't an option." Marcus respected that. Respected her. Then everything changed. One evening, Marcus got a call from Patricia. "Marcus, I need you in my office. Tomorrow, 9 a.m., it's important." "What's wrong?" "Nothing's wrong. Just be here." The next morning, Marcus arrived to find Patricia's office full of people. Patricia, Elena, several Guardian employees, and two people Marcus didn't recognize, a man and woman in business attire. "Marcus, come in," Patricia said. "These are reporters from the Oakland Tribune. They want to talk to you about what happened at SaveMart 3 months ago." Marcus's guard went up. "Why?" The female reporter stepped forward. "Mr. Webb, someone recorded video of you helping Eleanor in that grocery store. It recently went viral on social media. Over 2 million views. People are calling you a hero." "I'm not a hero. I bought baby formula." "You did more than that. You stood up when everyone else looked away. You helped someone in crisis without asking for anything in return. In a world full of indifference, that matters." The male reporter pulled out a camera. "We'd like to interview you, share your story. It could inspire—" "No." Marcus's voice was firm. "I don't want publicity. I did what anyone should have done. But they didn't. You did. That's the story. Find another story." Marcus started to leave, but Elena stopped him. "Marcus, wait. Maybe you should do this." "Why?" "Because your story could help people. Could remind them that kindness matters, that we should help each other. I'm not comfortable with this." "I know. But sometimes we do uncomfortable things because they're necessary. You taught me that." Marcus looked at Patricia, who nodded. "Your choice, Marcus. But I think Elena's right. Your story and Guardian's mission could reach people who need to hear it." Against every instinct, Marcus agreed to a short interview. The article ran 2 days later. "Navy SEAL turned protector helps struggling mom, reminds us what heroes look like." It included the video from the grocery store, Marcus's military record, public information, and quotes about his current work at Guardian Home Health. The response was overwhelming. Within 24 hours, Marcus's phone was flooded with messages. Friend requests on social media he didn't use. Interview requests from national news outlets. People calling him a hero, an inspiration, a role model. It made him deeply uncomfortable. "I'm not a hero," he told Elena when she called. "Heroes don't survive while their teammates die. Heroes don't spend 3 years hiding from the world." "Heroes are human," Elena replied. "They make mistakes, carry guilt, struggle with trauma. But they still show up when people need them. That's you, Marcus. I just bought formula. You did more than that. You saw someone suffering and chose to help. In a world where most people look away, that makes you extraordinary. But not everyone saw it that way." 3 days after the article, Marcus received a disturbing message on his phone. "You're not a hero. You're a killer. Syria remembers." Then another, "Silver Star for what? Surviving while better men died." And another, "You don't deserve praise. You deserve judgment." Marcus's stomach churned. Someone was targeting him, someone who knew about Syria, about his team, about his guilt. He called Patricia. "I'm getting threats. Someone's digging into my past. Forward me the messages. I'll contact the police." "It's not the police I'm worried about. Someone knows details about my service that shouldn't be public. Someone with access to classified information." "What are you saying?" "I'm saying this isn't random trolls. Someone specific is coming after me." That night, Marcus received a call from a blocked number. "Webb. Marcus Webb. Lieutenant, SEAL Team 3. Operation Silent Thunder, Syria 3 years ago." Marcus's blood ran cold. The voice was distorted, mechanical. "Who is this?" "Someone who knows the truth, about what really happened in that compound, about who gave the order, about why your team died." "What are you talking about? You think it was just bad luck, bad intelligence?" "No. Someone wanted that mission to fail, wanted your team eliminated, and you, the only survivor, are the proof." Who are you? Someone who'll be in touch. Don't talk to the media anymore, Marcus. Don't draw attention to yourself. It's dangerous for people who know too much. The line went dead. Marcus sat in his apartment, mind racing. The official story was that his team had been ambushed in Syria. Bad intelligence led them into a trap. But there'd always been questions, inconsistencies in the after-action reports. What if it hadn't been an accident? What if someone had deliberately sent his team to die? And what if Marcus, becoming visible, becoming news, had drawn the attention of whoever was responsible? His phone rang again. Different number, but he recognized it. John Hawk Morrison, one of his old SEAL teammates. One of the few who'd survived other operations and gotten out. Hawk? Marcus? Saw the article. You need to be careful. Why? Because you're asking questions people don't want asked. About Syria. About what really happened. You know something? I know there were rumors that someone high up wanted your team taken out. That Operation Silent Thunder was never about the mission objective. It was about eliminating people who knew too much. Knew too much about what? I don't know, but Marcus, if that's true, if someone powerful wanted your team dead and now you're visible on the news drawing attention, I'm a target. Yeah, you're a target. Marcus spent the next 2 days in careful assessment mode, the same mindset he'd used on reconnaissance missions. Evaluate threats, identify patterns, prepare defenses. The threatening messages continued, all anonymous, all referencing Syria, all suggesting Marcus knew something dangerous. But he didn't know anything. That was the frustrating part. He'd been unconscious for part of the mission, hospitalized for weeks after. By the time he'd recovered enough to ask questions, the official report was sealed and his team was dead. Whatever you're dealing with, I'm here to help, Eleanor said when Marcus met with her to explain he might need to step back from Guardian temporarily. This isn't your fight. You made it my fight when you helped Sophia and me. We're connected now. That means something. Elena, this could be dangerous. People who go after military teams don't play nice. Then you need allies. People who have your back. Let me help. Marcus wanted to refuse, to keep her out of danger. But he'd learned in the military that going alone was how you died. Okay, but carefully, discreetly. Elena nodded. What do you need? Information. Someone is threatening me based on classified details about my last mission. I need to know who has access to those files. Who might want to keep me quiet. Who benefits from my team being dead. That sounds like investigative work. It is. I might know someone. Their lawyer. She handled my custody case when Sophia's father tried to take her. She's connected, resourceful, and she owes me a favor. The lawyer was Diana Rodriguez, mid-40s, sharp-eyed, with a reputation for taking on powerful opponents. Elena tells me you need help uncovering military information, Diana said when they met in her office. Classified mission details, yes. Someone's threatening me with information they shouldn't have. That's complicated. Military records are heavily protected. But there are ways. FOIA requests, congressional inquiries, investigative journalists who specialize in military cover-ups. How long would that take? Months. Maybe longer. I might not have months. Diana studied him. You really think someone wants you dead over a mission from 3 years ago? I think someone wanted my team dead 3 years ago and succeeded. Now I'm visible, and they're nervous. Then we work fast. I'll reach out to contacts, see what I can shake loose. But Marcus, if this is as big as you think, we're going to need protection. I'm protection. Not just for you, for Elena, for me, for anyone helping you. You understand? Marcus understood. When you went after powerful people, they went after everyone you cared about. 2 weeks later, Diana found something. Operation Silent Thunder was authorized by Admiral Richard Carver, now retired. He was head of JSOC at the time. The mission was supposed to target a high-value terrorist, but intelligence suggests the target wasn't there. We knew that. That's why it was called a failed mission. But here's what's interesting. 3 members of your team, Lieutenant Jason Reeves, Petty Officer Marcus Webb, and Chief Garrett Thompson, had all filed reports about suspected corruption in military contracting 6 months before the mission. Marcus froze. What? You don't remember? I remember Jason talking about some contracts that seemed suspicious, equipment that didn't meet specs, companies getting sweetheart deals, but we never formally reported anything. According to these documents, you did. All 3 of you signed statements to NCIS about Raven Defense Industries potentially defrauding the military. Raven Defense. Marcus knew the name, one of the biggest defense contractors in the country. Billions in government contracts. Connections to half of Washington. We reported fraud against Raven? Yes, and 6 months later, you were sent on a mission with bad intelligence that got your team killed, except you survived. Jesus. Marcus's mind raced. You're saying Raven had us killed? I'm saying it's suspicious, and Admiral Carver has connections to Raven. His brother-in-law is on their board of directors. Can you prove it? Not yet, but I'm working on it. Marcus, if this is real, if Raven Defense orchestrated the death of military personnel to cover up fraud, this is massive, criminal, treasonous. It's also incredibly dangerous to investigate, which is why we need to be careful. I'm contacting a congressional oversight committee, some investigative journalists. We build a case quietly, then go public all at once. And in the meantime? In the meantime, you watch your back. That night, someone tried to kill Marcus. He was leaving his apartment when a car accelerated toward him in the parking lot. Marcus's training kicked in. He dove behind a parked vehicle, heard bullets ricochet off concrete. The car sped away before he could get a plate number. Marcus called the police, filed a report. They said it was probably random gang violence. Oakland had a problem with that. Marcus knew better. He called Hawk. Someone just tried to kill me. Where are you? My apartment. Police just left. Get out of there now. Go somewhere safe, somewhere nobody knows about. Where? I'll send you an address. One of our old safe houses from training. It's off-grid, secure. I'll meet you there. 2 hours later, Marcus was in a cabin in the mountains east of Oakland. Hawk arrived shortly after, still built like a warrior, still moving with that tactical grace. Talk to me, Hawk said. Marcus explained everything. The investigation, the connection to Raven Defense, Admiral Carver, the attempt on his life. This is bigger than I thought, Hawk said. If Raven is involved, they have resources, money, connections. They can make people disappear. So what do I do? You go public, fast, before they can silence you. Get your evidence to media, to Congress, to everyone. Make yourself too visible to kill quietly. That's the opposite of staying safe. Safety's relative. Right now the safest thing is making sure your death would raise too many questions. Marcus understood the logic. In the military, they called it dead man's switch. Make sure your death triggers consequences the enemy doesn't want. I need to warn Elena and Diana they're helping me. Do it. And Marcus? Whatever happens, you're not alone this time, not like Syria. I've got your back. Thanks, brother. Always. Marcus called Diana and Elena, warned them about the danger. Both refused to back down. I'm a lawyer, Diana said. I've dealt with powerful people before. Let me do my job. I'm not abandoning you, Elena added. You didn't abandon Sophia and me. I won't abandon you. Within 48 hours, Diana had assembled a devastating case. Financial records showing suspicious payments from Raven Defense to offshore accounts connected to Admiral Carver. Communications suggesting foreknowledge of the failed intelligence. Testimony from other military personnel who'd noticed irregularities. And Marcus's own testimony. A first-hand account of the mission, the explosion, the deaths of his brothers. Diana presented everything to 3 outlets simultaneously. A major newspaper, a congressional committee, and a military watchdog organization. The story broke on a Tuesday morning. Defense contractor allegedly orchestrated military deaths to cover fraud. The response was explosive. Raven Defense denied everything. Admiral Carver refused to comment, but the evidence was damning enough that Congress announced immediate hearings. Marcus went on national television, something he'd never wanted to do, and told his story. 3 years ago, my team was sent on a mission with false intelligence. 3 good men died. I survived. I spent those 3 years thinking it was bad luck, bad circumstances. But it wasn't. It was murder. Coordinated. Deliberate. Because we'd reported fraud and corruption, and powerful people wanted us silenced. The interviewer asked, "Are you afraid of retaliation?" "I'm terrified, but my team died for nothing if I don't speak up now. Jason Reeves, Garrett Thompson, Michael Chang. They deserve justice. And the people who killed them deserve consequences." The congressional hearings lasted 3 months. Admiral Carver was indicted. Raven Defense's CEO stepped down. Multiple executives faced criminal charges. The FBI opened investigations into military contracting fraud. And Marcus, the SEAL who'd survived, became the face of accountability. But he didn't feel like a hero. He felt like someone who'd finally done what he should have done 3 years ago. "You couldn't have done this 3 years ago," Elena told him as they watched the news coverage. "You weren't ready. You were traumatized, broken, barely surviving. It took 3 years and helping Sophia and me to remind you that you still had purpose. Helping you started all this." "Exactly. You helped us. That reminded you that you could help others. That led to the job. That led to the article. That led to visibility. That led to threats. That led to investigation. Everything connects. Butterfly effect. More like domino effect. Each small good thing leads to bigger good things. You saved us. That saved you. That's saving justice for your team." 1 year after the grocery store incident, Marcus stood at Arlington National Cemetery. He was there for a memorial service, belated but necessary. Jason Reeves, Garrett Thompson, and Michael Chang were finally being properly honored. Their deaths acknowledged not as mission casualties, but as casualties of corruption. Their families were there. Marcus met them all: wives, children, parents. People he'd avoided for 3 years because he couldn't face them. "Thank you," Jason's widow said, "for finally telling the truth, for making sure they're remembered as heroes, not just statistics. They were heroes. I should have said that sooner. You said it when it mattered. That's what counts." After the service, Marcus met with Elena and Diana. They'd both been invited as his guests, the people who'd helped him find his way back. Elena brought Sophia, now 2 years old and healthy. The little girl who'd been crying in a grocery store was now laughing, playing, thriving. "She doesn't remember that day," Elena said, "but I'll tell her someday. About the man who helped us when we had nothing. About how one act of kindness changed everything. It was $50. It was dignity. It was hope. It was proof that good people exist." Eleanor smiled. "And it was the beginning of you becoming whole again." Marcus thought about that. The grocery store, the formula, the crying baby. Such a small moment. But it had led to a job, to purpose, to investigation, to justice. "I've been offered a position," Marcus told them. "Congressional liaison for military oversight, making sure corruption like this doesn't happen again." "Are you taking it?" Diana asked. "I think so. It's time I did more than survive. Time I actually used my training for something meaningful." "What about Guardian?" Elena asked. "I'll stay part-time. I like the work, like helping people directly." "And the nightmares?" "Still there, but less frequent. My therapist says purpose helps with trauma." Guess she was right. They stood together overlooking the rows of white headstones. All those lives, all that sacrifice. "Marcus," Elena's voice was soft. "Can I ask you something?" "Sure. Do you think things happen for a reason?" "I don't know. Why?" "Because if I hadn't been $20 short that day, if the cashier hadn't been cruel, if you hadn't been in that store at that exact moment, none of this, the job, the investigation, the justice, none of it happens. It's like the universe conspired to put us all in the right place." Marcus considered that. He'd never believed in fate or destiny. But looking back at the chain of events, the grocery store, the article, the threats, the investigation, the justice, it was hard to deny that something had aligned. "Maybe it's not fate," he said finally. "Maybe it's just what happens when good people see problems and choose to act. One person helps another. That inspires someone else to help. That creates momentum. That changes systems. Not because the universe planned it, but because people chose to be better." "I like that," Diana said. "Agency over destiny. Responsibility over fate," Marcus agreed. They left the cemetery together, 3 people whose lives had intersected by chance, but been transformed by choice. Marcus thought about his team, about the men who'd died. They'd spent their lives fighting for something larger than themselves. He'd spent 3 years running from that legacy, but not anymore. Now he fought for accountability, for justice, for making sure their deaths meant something. And it had all started because a poor single mother needed baby formula, and a broken Navy SEAL chose to help. 2 years later, the Guardian Home Health Services Gala was packed with supporters, donors, and community members. Marcus stood at the podium, uncomfortable in a suit but present, because Patricia had insisted. 2 years ago, I was a broken veteran working security, surviving but not living. Then I witnessed a mother in crisis and chose to help. That choice led me to Guardian, to meaningful work, to purpose I'd lost." He looked at Elena, who sat in the front row holding Sophia. "That choice also led to justice for my fallen teammates. because helping one person reminded me I could help others. That ripple effect, from baby formula to congressional hearings, showed me that no act of kindness is too small. Every choice to help, to stand up, to do the right thing, it matters. Guardian exists because Patricia believed that protecting vulnerable people is the highest calling. I'm honored to serve on the board to ensure that mission continues. Thank you all for supporting this work. The applause was warm. Marcus stepped down, immediately uncomfortable with attention. But Elena caught him. Good speech. It was short. It was perfect. How's Sophia doing? The little girl waved at Marcus, smiling. He waved back. She's starting preschool next year, Elena said. I got my degree. I'm assistant director now. Patricia told me. Congratulations. Couldn't have done it without you, without that day you chose to help. You did the work. I just bought formula. You gave us dignity when we had none. You gave us hope when we'd lost it. That's more than formula, Marcus, that's everything. As the gala continued, Marcus slipped outside for air. The San Francisco Bay spread out before him, lights reflecting on water. Hawk found him there. Hiding from your own success? Just needed space. Still having nightmares? Less. Therapy's helping. So is the work. You did good, Marcus. Your team would be proud. I hope so. They stood in comfortable silence, two warriors who'd survived when others hadn't, learning to live with that weight. You know what I realized? Marcus said. All those years, I thought I'd failed because I survived. But surviving meant I could still do something, still make a difference. My team's gone, but their mission, protecting people, fighting for what's right, that continues through me. That's the best way to honor them. Yeah, it is. Marcus returned to the gala, to the work, to the life he'd rebuilt from the ashes of trauma. It had started with $50 and a crying baby. It had become justice, purpose, and redemption. And it proved that sometimes the smallest act of courage, choosing to help when everyone else looks away, can change everything. Not just for the person you help, but for yourself, and maybe, just maybe, for the world.